Jasmine El-Gamal joins us from London, political analyst and former Pentagon Middle East advisor. Jasmine, Iran just said, quote, Israel's strike is a declaration of war. What do we know?
Look, obviously, this was a devastating, humiliating blow for Iran. I mean, the fact that so many of its personnel were killed, these nuclear facilities were attacked. Iran is going to see this as a red line that's been crossed, really, and it's going to have to respond somehow. The question is, what can Iran do that won't invite even more aggression towards it, either by Israel or the US in defense of Israel, or if Iran decides to retaliate against American personnel and assets in the region. So Iran is in a real bind now. On one hand, if it doesn't retaliate at all, it not only loses face, it's not just a symbolic thing, but also I think it reveals to Israel, to other actors, that it is in fact a paper tiger, that it has no moves, that it has no ability to retaliate, and that could make it seem really, really weak in front of its adversaries. So it's in a real bind. It's going to have to figure out how to respond in a way that allows it to maintain some sort of credibility moving forward in these negotiations if it decides to go back to them without inviting ever more military action against it.
And the U.S. is calling for an urgent de-escalation. Any diplomacy that can help avoid further escalation here? Do you think Israel will listen?
Look, I think that Prime Minister Netanyahu sees this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to once and for all decapitate the Iranian regime and its nuclear program. He has been wanting to do this for years. He has been saying publicly that he's been wanting to do this for years. There's a very strong branch, both within the US government, in Congress, outside, in lobby organizations in the US that supports this. So I think he sees this as his moment to realize that dream, that vision, especially since he spent the last year weakening Iran in all other kinds of ways by going after its proxies, Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza, and so on. And so I think it'll be very difficult for the US right now to rein in Netanyahu when he thinks he is this close to fulfilling that long-standing vision and strategy. But at the same time, the longer that the US allows this to go on, the more likely it will be that the US gets dragged into this war, which we know absolutely without a doubt that Donald Trump and the America First camp of the Republican Party doesn't want. So I think the next few hours are going to be really critical in shaping both the US response and the Iranian response in the hours to come.
As you said, it will be hard for the U.S. not to be dragged into this conflict. How, when, and what ways do you think that the U.S. could be preparing for a possible Iranian retaliation?
I mean, they're going to be looking at everything right now. The Department of Defense, intelligence officials are going to be providing the president with as clear of a picture as they can so that he can make decisions in the next few hours. So some of the things they're going to be looking at, for example, are trying to assess the extent of the damage inside of Iran, trying to assess what Iran's response might be, both against Israel and possibly against the US in the region, and then quickly preparing military responses for the president in case he needs to use them. So that's what the defense and intelligence departments are going to be working on, I imagine, right now, to try to guess what's going to happen next and prepare the president to respond as necessary.